Hello guys, I am Huda Khan with Karam. Today we will tell and show you the 25 best places and tourist attractions of Norway based on our traveling's experiences. If you are new, honorable one on our channel, please subscribe. Norway is a land of fjords, mountains and breathtaking scenery. It is also a land of opportunity, with a strong economy and a high standard of living. The capital, Oslo, is a great place to start. It is a cosmopolitan city with a rich history and a lively nightlife. The museums are world-class, and the restaurants serve up some of the best cuisine in the country. No visit to Norway would be complete without seeing the fjords. These towering waterways are a natural wonder, and there are plenty of ways to explore them, from cruises to hikes. The towns and villages along the fjords are also worth a visit, with their traditional architecture and friendly locals. For those looking for an adventure, Norway has plenty to offer. There are opportunities for hiking, cycling, skiing and kayaking, to name just a few. And with such stunning scenery, it's no wonder that Norway is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world. Norway is a living folk museum, open for everyone to explore. It is the ideal country for conscious, modern traveling, and the Norwegian cuisine has improved a lot in recent years. The cooking has always benefited from fresh, natural ingredients. Now we also have the know-how to utilize them to the highest international standards. These are 25 favorite places in Norway. Stadlandet and Vagsøy. Fjord Norway. A paradise for surfers, the unsheltered peninsula Stadlandet and the island of Vagsøy also have Norway's oldest monastery ruins and 3 lighthouses that offer accommodation. The village of Hadavika has even established a reputation as one of the more exotic surfing destinations in the world. The 3 lighthouses, all of which boast panoramic views of the sea, are called Hendanes, Krakenes and Skogsnes. Island hopping north of the Sandfjord. If there is one area in Norway where you can go island hopping, in the full sense of the word, it is the area north of the Sandfjord. The Solund archipelago and Veyerlandet have phenomenal scenery and lots of small communities, which means it is easy to get around with scheduled boat services. Best of all, however, is sea kayaking. Kayaking enthusiasts from all over the world discovered this island paradise a long time ago. In summer, numerous pleasure boats join them in the wide open spaces. The fjord valleys leading to the Trollheimen and Dovrefell mountains. Tidalen, Innerdalen, Sundalen, Littdalen, Grodalen and Eiksdalen are a cluster of valleys that extend from the ocean into the high mountains of Trollheimen and Dovre. The area has phenomenal opportunities for walking and climbing, but also for cycling and driving. Try the gravel road Orsjøveien from Eiksdalen to the small town of Sundalsøra via Orsjøen and the Littjadalen Valley. Rock formations by the Lysefjord and the Lysbotn hairpin bends. Together with the Gerangerfjord and Nærøyfjord, the Lysefjord is Norway's most photographed fjord. This is hardly surprising considering the spectacular rock formations, the Pulpit Rock, Preikestolen and Kiragbolten, the latter of which is a prime destination for base jumpers. The most fascinating road and ferry route between Kristiansand and Stavanger goes via the Lysbotn hairpin bends down to the Lysefjord. The Alfotbreen Glacier and Nordfjord. Vingen is the largest petroglyph field in the Nordic countries and it's located in Nordfjord near Norway's tallest sea cliff, Hornelen, which towers 860 meters above the sea. This walk goes all the way down to the high fjord and is typical for Norway's varied hiking possibilities featuring both fjord landscapes and inland mountains. The tour goes through distinctive geological formations from the Devonian age, across Norway's westernmost glacier the Alfotbreen via the mountain cabins at Blabribu and Jegnebu. Guided tours of the glaciers are strongly recommended. Just remember to bring suitable clothes as this is the wettest area in Norway, with 10 times more rain than Bergen. From the top of the Hardangervidda Plateau down to the fjord. One of the many fantastic walks that include both mountains and fjords in Hardanger, from Eidfjord down to Hustalen, a stunning valley with 3 distinctive waterfalls. On the way you will experience the nature in the innermost part of the Hardangerfjord and pass the wild Jolladalen and the mountain huts in Veveli, Hedlo and Hadlaskerd. The Hartigan Mountain, which is the highest point and a great landmark on the Hardangervidda Plateau. And finally Hustalen and the Munkatrappene Steppes. The innermost part of the Sandfjord. Deep down in the Sandfjord, you will find the Lustrafjord with the Harungain Mountains and the Mountaineering Center at Tortagro, as well as Vedastrand and the Jostedalen Valley that are tucked in behind the Jostedalsbreen Glacier. The area also boasts Norway's oldest stave church urns, which is located in an enchanting setting on a promontory in the Lustrafjord. This part of the Sandfjord has the best the region can offer, with countless outdoor pursuits between the fjords and the glaciers. Norway's best preserved sailing ship town, Skudeneshavn. Skudeneshavn is a coastal town that flourished during the Great Age of Sail in the 19th century. Today it is known for having preserved its more than 200 old white wooden houses tremendously well. Many of the buildings were built in the 1850s and are lovingly maintained by their proud owners, many of whom are from Stavanger, just a ferry crossing away. Adventures in the wilderness, Lyngsalpine mountain range. Northern Norway. Lyngen, known as the Alps by the ocean, has a given place on the International Extreme Wilderness map. It is a paradise for both traditional and modern adventures in nature, from fishing, hunting and classic mountaineering to extreme skiing, diving and hang gliding. The fishing village Ham in Senja. Ham in Senja is a picturesque fishing village with an industrial past. Electric power was introduced here as early as 1882. It was supplied by one of the world's two first hydroelectric power stations, built for the local nickel mines. This old fishing village makes a great base for exploring the island of Senja, on the border with Russia. In Finnmark, the northeast corner of Norway has a number of interesting attractions. On the border with Russia you can visit several churches, like Oscar II's Chapel in Grense Jakobselv and the Protestant Church and St. George's Chapel in Neiden, as well as the Finnish-Norwegian fishing village of Begoins. From Kirkenes, you can drive along the border on the road that goes from the Bjornevatn Lake to Ove Pasvik National Park. Varanger has one of Norway's largest nesting sites for Arctic birds, and in Ytre Jarfjord you can find interesting activities like red king crab safaris. Further west you will find the Treriksrøysa Cairn, the point where Norway, Sweden and Finland meet. The outermost Lofoten Islands. On the islands Moskenesøya, Veroy and Rost in Lofoten, you can experience a unique mixture of breathtaking scenery, formed by thousands of years of fishing activities, and modern-day demands of tourism. Here you will find art galleries and fresh spices like chili, ginger and garlic. See the midnight sun in summer or chase the northern lights in winter. Between February and April, fishermen hunt for skrei, the migrating cod that comes to the coast of northern Norway to spawn every year. The island kingdoms of Træna and Myken. These two island kingdoms far out to sea have been settled for more than 6,000 years, and have a rich cultural heritage and ancient monuments to explore. Træna is located 61 kilometers off the Helgeland coast and offers everything from art and culture to saunas and cozy cafes. You can jump on the local ferry and visit the island Sana, where the famous rock formation Trænastaven soars above the ocean. Træna is also where the success story of salmon farming in northern Norway started, and the Træna festival has achieved international cult status. Further out, you'll find Myken, a small island where only 11 people live permanently. Still, it has a modern whiskey distillery. Gjesvær, a classic fishing village. Gjesvær is a classic Finnmark fishing village with 3 distinctive bird cliff islands called Stapane not far offshore. The area has Norway's biggest puffin colony of more than 350,000 birds. This is Norway's northernmost archipelago, comprising over 100 islands and islets. The northernmost point is mentioned in Snorre's History of the Norse Kings from the 13th century. You can also explore landmarks that predate the Viking era. The unknown Vistenfjord. The Vistenfjord, located on the coast of Helgeland between the Vega Islands and the Seven Sisters Mountain, is often referred to as the unknown fjord. It is one of northern Europe's most varied natural biotopes, with traces of hunting and fishing activities dating back 9,000 years. There are permanent settlements both by the mouth of the fjord and at Bona, where a local sheep farmer cum fisherman and his family run a wilderness center offering a variety of outdoor pursuits. Røros and the circumference. Trondelag. The traditional mining community of Røros is situated on a high mountain plateau. One of Europe's biggest copper deposits was discovered here, which created great wealth, at least in Copenhagen. This is where most of the copper ended up, where it was used as roofing for monumental buildings, for example the stock exchange with its famous dragon spire. Røros itself may be the only mining town in the world that is almost exclusively built of wood. See it for yourself on a guided tour of the mines and the town. Røros is also one of Norway's leading regions for locally produced food, and you can try the delicacies on a food safari. The medieval Nidaros Cathedral. In the Middle Ages, the Nidaros Cathedral in Trondheim was as important for pilgrims as Santiago de Compostela. Although the interior was stripped of many of its art treasures during the Reformation, it still has a special place among Europe's cathedrals, not the least because of its sheer size. In fact, it is by far the biggest cathedral in Europe to be located so far from Rome. An exotic offshoot of the Setesdalen Valley. Southern Norway. The wooded, hilly landscape from the valley of Tovdal to the village of Araksbo represents southern Norway at its most impressive. Tovdal is one of the most varied forest and low-lying mountain biotopes in southern Norway. One of the finest inland walks in the area goes from Dale down to Araksbo in Setesdal, home to the old building Havagberget that dates from 1219. Along the way you pass the waterfall Rajukan, Stuvestøyel, Videstøyel, the Juba stream and the Skuggafell mountain. Canoes are available to rent at Hillstad. The archipelago of southern Norway. The southern Norway archipelago consists of thousands of small and large islands and skerries, from the Rivingen Lighthouse to the Jomfruland Island. There are literally tens of thousands smooth rocky shore areas that are hugely popular with sun worshippers in the summer. It is an amazing area for sea kayaking, both for beginners and the more experienced. The islands close to the mainland are sheltered from the ocean, which makes canoes a great way of getting around. The North Sea Cycle Route from Mandal to Hafrsfjord. The coast road from Mandal to Hafrsfjord is part of the North Sea Cycle Route Shetland, the Orkney Islands, Scotland, England, Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, Sweden and Norway. More than 6,000 kilometers long, it is the world's longest waymarked cycle route. The prime cut of the North Sea Cycle Route is arguably the 250 kilometers long stretch from Mandal to Hafrsfjord via Lindesnes and Lista, Haag and Egersund, with a beautiful and varied coastal landscape. Norwegian industrial history in Rajukan. Telemark. The dramatic Rajukandalen Valley and its powerful waterfalls represent the essence of Norway as a modern industrial nation. At the Norwegian Industrial Workers Museum in the Vemork Power Station, you can learn how the power of the waterfalls was tamed for hydroelectric power. The process laid the foundation for Norway's transformation from a nation of poor fishermen and farmers into a rich and prosperous industrial country in just a few generations. The canoeing paradise of Velmunden. Eastern Norway. Lake Velmunden, Fjorda, located 396 meters above sea level between the lakes Randsfjord and Spirillen, is eastern Norway's undisputed canoeing paradise. There are countless canoeing routes to explore, and the youngest members of the family can play in an almost totally unspoiled landscape of islands and lakes. Those who are interested in cultural history can visit the old Finnish settlements, a testimonial to the immigration that was a result of the famine in Norway's neighbor country 400 years ago. The Oscarsborg Fortress. Oscarsborg Fortress was built on a beautiful island in the narrowest section of the Oslofjord. Today, it is primarily an interesting monument to Norway's military history. At dawn on the 9th of April 1940, the fortress fired the cannons and torpedoes that sank the German heavy cruiser the Blücher. This gave Norway's King Haakon VII and the government the time they needed to flee further north, from where they were evacuated to London to continue the fight against the Nazi occupation. The untamed wilderness of Femundsmarka. This wilderness area near the Swedish border is a tougher alternative to Velmunden, more on a par with Alaska and the Yukon. The national parks Femundsmarka and Gatulia, on the Norwegian side of the border, and Tofsingdalen on the Swedish side, form one of the most distinctive high mountain biotopes in Scandinavia. When the great botanist Carl von Linné explored the area in 1734, he encountered falconers in the area. The historic Telemark Canal. The Telemark Canal stretches from Henrik Ibsen's birth town Skien to Dalen, close to one of Telemark's classic fjord lakes Bandak. Visitors can explore the canal, which was constructed with an intricate system of locks, in a few hours. From Dalen, it is not far to other interesting attractions. For example, Morgendal, known as the cradle of skiing, the Art Hotel Nutheim in Flatdal, and the Hardangervidda Plateau via the Mosvatten Lake.